threat of disaster is never pleasant.
Welcome to the Casual Preppers podcast.
These safety measures are essential.
The only place for prepping, survival, and entertainment.
This will be your source of survival instructions and information. Every member of the family must be coached in the business of survival.
Here are your hosts, Cam and Kobe.
Charles, it's gonna do yourself. First aid. Today we're gonna talk
We just spent the last 30 minutes probably talking like Charles Hapgood.
That Charles Hapgood voice is like, I don't know what
That's
it
my
is.
favorite, man.
It feels good to do it.
Yours sounds great.
If you guys just, like, you're having a bad day,
Get reincarnated.
stand in front of the mirror, start doing your Charles Hapgood voice. You will feel better by the end of it. I guarantee just 5 minutes.
You just don't have any care in the world.
No, you're going to feel better about yourself.
Charles Hapgood's going to shave this morning.
Charles Hapgood is a great person. Charles Hapgood.
Charles Hapgood can do anything. Charles Hapgood's going to have a good day.
Charles Hapgood, out. And just head out and do your thing.
Your wife's staring at you like, what are you doing?
She pretty much does that anyways. I don't have to do the Charles Hapgood voice for that.
Yeah.
Cameron, I'm excited about today. Man, it feels like it's been a bit. I was off last week.
That's right.
I was out floating the ocean.
I was wondering why it felt so long.
That's why.
You've been out.
It's been 2 weeks. But we did release a cool episode last week, so if you haven't checked that out, we did a little talk with Kern about EMPs.
Yeah, always an
That's
exciting
fun.
subject.
Yeah, great stuff. But today, we got a good one for you.
We do.
What are we talking
this
about
This is an exciting. It may not be exciting for you, but obviously I like it because first aid kits they're important, so we're going to talk all about first aid kits and other kits of the first aid business, and basically, doing it yourself is what we've preached, and so Charles Hapgood wants you to do.
Charles Hapgood makes his own.
But yeah,
first aid
so
kit.
we wanted to just talk about a little more in detail first aid kits, different types, and what stuff you should kind of get prepared in your own kit.
Yes, sir. Before we get to that, though, I got to tell you about Battlebox. It is the monthly subscription box full of solid gear for adventure seekers, survivalists, outdoor enthusiasts, and Charles Hapgood. Each month, Battlebox sends you the coolest selection of hand-picked outdoor survival and everyday carry gear, all valued at far more than what you normally pay. You never know what's in the next box, but here is a sampling of what users received this month. The Tactica K100 pocket knife. Dude, pocket knives are awesome.
I love pocket knives.
Bleed Stop.
Perfect time.
Oh my gosh, couldn't be better. All this badassness starts at just $34.99 per month. They've shipped over 1 million boxes and won Best Men's Subscription Box of 2020. Our listeners get a free knife when you sign up at trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers. Get your first BattleBox plus a free knife when you sign up at trybattlebox.com/casualpreppers.
Listener reviews starts now.
Yes, indeed. Anybody's got to have that bleed stop. I just picture, biting it off, pouring it into somebody's shoulder wound. You're like, oh, come on, get it to stop.
Exactly.
So if you want to look cool, get you back.
Get some Bleed Stop and BattleBox.
So stress relief. Driving home stress relief while thinking about prepping can be stressful. You guys take the stress right out of it with your great lighthearted amusement, but very logical, at times, I think this is ideal, right? At times ideal for the normal person.
Or ideas for the normal person.
Oh, maybe it's both. Yeah. Okay. It probably is ideas. Never know. I have an hour drive home from work, which some days can be high stress in the emergency services field.
Oh, man.
Your guys' podcast gives me at least one day a week a good laugh on the way home. Keep up the great work, Co-Cheese.
Co-Cheese. Thanks, buddy.
Yeah, man. It is stressful, right?
And good work in the emergency services field. Appreciate you.
That field is stressful. That's why I don't choose it.
Exactly. If you guys want to be a part of this portion of the podcast, go to iTunes, go to Facebook, leave us a 5-star review. Make it awesome.
It's a mad, mad world.
Well, the world gets madder and madder as we go. I read an article. Here is the headline. Killer bees sting 6 people to death in Nicaragua after bus plunges into ravine. Yeah, so...
just add that there.
I know, that's the worst part of this whole thing.
Wait, did I just catch that last sentence say...
That was
bus
true.
Plunged into
6 people, including a mother and her 8-year-old daughter, were stung to death by a swarm of killer bees during a bus ride in Nicaragua earlier this week. A bus carrying 60 passengers making the hour-long journey from Jinotega to San Sebastian, whatever. When the vehicle skidded off the road and plunged 165 feet down a ravine. Obviously, that's a horrible...
We're alive.
We made everybody survived the initial terrifying drop, the bus landed in a coffee plantation field, which was home to a number of disturbed and angry killer Africanized bees. The passengers were stung repeatedly by the angry insects, and victims' bodies.
We're all right. We're all right.
What's going on? They were covered from head to toe with hundreds of angry red bite marks. They have pictures of this, and it's horrible, dude.
That is horrible.
So, anyways.
They were meant to go, I guess.
Like it was time. But you survive a bus off a cliff, and then killer bees get you.
Oh, my gosh.
I know. So I don't know how you prep for that.
I don't either. We never did an episode on killer bees. Huh? There was a time when they were...
Yeah, there was a thing about them, huh?
Up. Yeah. So, here's another... This is the world that we live in now. TikTok trend leads to fruit roll-up woes in Israel.
What?
So, this is funny because 2 weeks ago, somebody in our clinic brought in fruit roll-ups and ice cream, and that's like a trend. You put a little scoop of ice cream on the fruit roll-up and roll it up and eat it. And it's like crispy, and it takes all the fillings out of your teeth.
Does it? That sounds about right,
It is super sticky. Anyways, and then I saw this article. Health officials in Israel are warning the public about the sugar content of fruit roll-ups after a viral TikTok trend led to multiple instances of the sweet snacks being smuggled into the country. There's video. Yeah, so I don't think they can have certain things.
You can't fruit roll-ups in Israel?
Yeah, guess not. I guess they're banned. But the Israel Tax Authority said an operation at Ben Gurion airport led to the hundreds of pounds of fruit roll-ups being confiscated from luggage. Officials said people had been bringing the snacks from the United States, where a box of 72 fruit roll-ups can be bought for about $27 and then sold. Each single fruit roll-up can be sold for $6. That's a lot of money.
$27 for a box?
I don't know where they're buying it here. You probably can on Amazon. I bet you can.
Fruit roll-ups?
So they're buying 72 roll-ups in a box, taking it over there, selling it $6 each roll-up.
Oh, man.
That's a big bank.
Yeah, it's like a drug deal, man.
Yeah. So, anyways, never thought I would live in a world where fruit roll-ups are being smuggled and sold on the black market.
And then getting in trouble for taking
Government's like, oh, you break your teeth.
Well, you can't have fruit roll-ups.
Nope. Let's go attack our neighbors. Let's go destroy that nation next to us.
We're going to nuke somebody, but you can't be eating fruit roll-ups.
I was like, oh my gosh. Anyways, weird. TikTok ruining the world.
Yep. Go follow us on TikTok, everybody.
Perfect.
So today we're talking about first aid kits, and I guess we're like leaning towards like DIY first aid kits. Pretty much, right?
More so. We figured we could get you some details on bags and things to put in them so that you can build your own, because that's really the best way to build a first aid kit.
And I don't know what I'm talking about here, by the way.
We don't ever.
No.
So it's not anything unusual.
I know. It's like we were talking about this earlier. I'm like, Cam, you're just going to have to like help me walk through some of this stuff because I'm an idiot. And he was like, well, that's how every other episode is.
Kobe's my mouthpiece. So
but I mean, like,
he can explain things better than even I can.
At least
work in the field.
At least with this episode, one of us sort of knows what's going on.
Sort of.
Every other episode, we're both just BSing. So here we go.
Yeah. But so I do work in medicine, and I've worked in several different clinic types: urgent care, family medicine, surgical specialty. And so, yes, I do have some experience, but, I just wanted to, like Kobe said, I mean, this isn't medical advice.
Please.
This isn't using, yes, I have experience in this, but you still have to, learn this stuff and build your own. So we're giving you recommendations, but it's not like, well, he knows medicine. I'm only going to do what he says. So
this is just kind of food for thought.
Yeah, don't do that. So, and our main purpose today with building these kits is to kind of get those things that you're most likely going to need for you and your family. There are tons of different things out there, tons of kits.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
There's a million different devices. Everyone's always coming up with a new fancy. I'll be honest, I don't even know how to use the RATS tourniquet.
Strats tourniquet.
I hope he's listening.
I hope he is too.
The RATS tourniquet is, I've seen how it works and I've done it, but it's like, it's not something. So there's just like all this stuff out there. So it's a little bit overwhelming to just I'll just buy my own kit. The problem is you're going to run into a lot of garbage, a lot of useless stuff. And so it's highly recommended that you take some of these things from the list that we're going to go through today and build your own. And so, Another reason that we wanted to do this episode again is because nowadays we live in like a really convenient time where you can just go down to the grocery store and buy some medicine and buy some Band-Aids. And if you don't know how to use them, you can walk over to urgent care and they'll show you how to put it on.
They'll put the Band-Aid on for you.
So it's like you can even go to Amazon Clinic now and visit with a provider.
Amazon Clinic?
Yeah,
I
did you
didn't
see
know they
that?
had that. No.
Yeah, they're starting their own clinic service
my
that you
gosh.
can do telemedicine through them.
Wow.
So we live in this time where it's super convenient and, you can go in, be seen, taken care of. Like we've lost the ability to learn, we've lost the ability to learn how to take care of ourselves medically, like on our own, like how to treat wounds, how to take care of, like my mom was a nurse and wasn't a nurse.
Yeah,
exactly. She knew everything, like medically. It blows my mind how much medical knowledge she had just because of all of us boys getting injured.
Mostly from doctoring cows, probably.
Like half the scars on my face, I think there's only one of them that got sutured. The rest were taped shut and glued, like with who knows what.
Yeah.
So it was like, and in this like SHTF scenario, you're going to need to know how to do these things on your own. You're not going to have an available clinic to go to. You may not even want to go to that clinic because there's an overwhelming sickness that's going around or something. And so, I've talked about that before. Just
to save yourself money. It's like every time you go to the clinic.
Apparently nobody does that anymore.
My gosh.
When I watch people, I'm like, how much money are you spending? Like, I'll have people come into the clinic and like, I can see all their hospital visits, you know, and I'm just like, you have like 50 urgent care notes in the last 2 months.
I don't know how people do it.
Like, what are you doing?
I'm doing the wrong thing in life because everybody has more money than me.
Everybody does appear to have more money.
I got to go to the urgent care. Better buy a new side-by-side so I can get over there.
All their kids got like iPhone 14s. I'm like, he's 2.
Like, how does this happen?
Yeah, so, but it's like we've lost that ability to like take care of ourselves and know how to use the medical equipment that's all available now. Like pretty much anything. You can buy a dialysis machine probably on Amazon today. I don't know.
Get an old, like a vintage dialysis machine.
Just blow the rust out and then put it in.
There's some old blood in there. It's fine.
You might have to wash the clots out, but it'll get you cleaned up.
Little soap. Not a big deal.
You send it back if you don't want it.
Someone's gonna buy a used one. Someone's gonna buy it. I guarantee.
So it's just crazy. We have all this stuff.
I got
a lot
a new
of people don't know how to
dialysis
use it
machine.
nor want to try.
I'm gonna repaint a dialysis machine for the
I'm gonna
entryway.
de-stress the corners.
I'm gonna distress the corners. Gonna put a little shiplap
That's
on the
exactly
outside.
what we walk in. It's like an old phone and a dialysis machine. I just like antique stuff.
I like farmhouse dialysis type stuff. You know?
Yeah. You like that shiplap behind it? It looks real nice.
Yeah. Yep. Vintage blood.
Oh,
for
man.
sure.
My wife's going to get mad about that one.
Add it to the list. All right.
Yeah. So anyways, but yeah. So with all of that being said, I wanted to like start with what's the pros and cons of building your own versus just buying a pre-built kit.
Yeah, so let's talk about that, DIY versus pre-built. So obviously there's 2 ways you can go when you're getting your FAQ ready. You can make it yourself or you can just go buy one, right? And there's pros and cons to each.
I got all the money in the world, I'll buy one.
I'll buy 2. But so let's talk about pre-built. It has some obvious pros, right? Because you just don't have to go out and search for every tiny little item. You can just hit
because all the stuff in there usually comes in a big box of a whole bunch. So it's like you want all of that.
Exactly.
You probably should. But.
So you can basically just go out. You can purchase a kit that looks like it works for you kind of generally for whatever kit you're looking for, and you're done. That's why it's so easy to buy a pre-built
Welcome
kit.
to America.
Welcome to America. Exactly. Usually, depending on the price range, these have been put together by a professional that kind of understands what's going on. So, that's a plus on that side, right? If you buy a trauma kit or if you buy a vehicle kit or a boat kit or whatever, somebody has looked at that. I mean, I would hope so, especially on the higher end stuff. Not that low end, like $8 Amazon stuff. Yeah, some kid in China put that together. And they're like, okay, put that up there.
But just got done pouring like beads into like a bottle, and then he's going to go over and build a medical kit.
Oh, yeah, he's like building
Moving
a medical
down the
kit
line
with one hand, braiding a bracelet with the other hand. You know what I mean?
Losing a foot in the other.
Yeah, and my kids are mad at me because I asked them to do the dishes. You know what I mean?
That's the truth.
What's this world come to?
Welcome to America.
Welcome
Have
to
a
America.
Pepsi.
Trump 2024.
Have a
Have a
Pepsi.
Pepsi. Good Lord. Anyways, welcome to Biden's America.
Yeah, yep.
I got to get a Trump and a Biden one in.
Yeah, you do.
I like to do that. Get you both pissed off.
Get both sides motions going.
Yeah, get something going on down there. So yeah, these have been put together by a professional that kind of understands. Also, pre-made kits, they can actually be a great starting point for your own DIY kit. So not to say that it's a totally bad thing if you want to start there and then build with it.
I've stolen pieces out of my own other kit, like my other kits. I'm like, I like that, I like this, put together. For
sure. In the lower end kits, it's usually pretty inexpensive. Like you can get it for next to nothing. Like they basically give it to you. Here, this ain't gonna do nothing. You can have it.
There's a kid's finger in here.
Yeah, exactly.
Off the assembly line.
There's a little hair. I don't know where the hair came from.
I guess you could use that for a tourniquet.
Yeah, bleed stop. I guess just throw it on there.
Dental floss.
Dental floss. Yeah, I don't know. Your nose bleed. Just plug it up there. Whatever you got to do.
Yeah, so it's in there. Use it.
But there's some cons to these as well. For the high-end ones, that stuff is expensive.
Yeah.
It is not cheap. So
I've drooled over it. I've wanted some of it.
Yes.
Like my Medic has some amazing looking stuff. And I do love that they package all their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So you can Ziploc. You like,
yes.
I used a little piece of it, cut it off, put it back, zip the bag shut.
I hate the ones where you open it up and like 6,000 pieces are everywhere.
Yeah.
You're like, well, never use this again. You can't get it packed back
I actually
up.
have one that's like a little cheap kit.
Yeah.
That's just all over the place. That's actually tucked into my vehicle kit, like in the trunk of my car. So it has like jumper cables, bandages, ice pack, a mask, and like a flare.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if that all came in the same kit.
That's a great kit.
But you can't put it back in the bag.
No.
Like it just blows up, like you said.
Yeah. So, anyways,
So
they can get pricey. They also probably never have everything that you're going to need in those situations. And it's never going to be specific to you and in the situation exactly like for you and your family or whatever, right? And it may not have specific brands that like you may have brands of a Band-Aid that you like, or
I do.
Yeah. Or you may
Johnson Band-Aid.
Johnson & Johnson, or you may have like a brand of saline. I don't know shit. Well, that's, you know what I mean? I'm just trying to think of something else that you like. I only use Amazon saline.
Kirkland saline all day long.
Poland Springs saline all day. I couldn't
Sprouse
think of
right.
I couldn't think of anything else.
Yeah.
Saline came out. Okay. And it seems like those never have enough of the things that you use the most.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly. Band-Aids
for one
Burn
thing.
through them.
It's like you got 4 Band-Aids.
Yeah.
Deal with it. It's like, no, that's not enough.
I just want all Band-Aids in most of my kits because that's what my kids want.
I just need like 1,000-piece Band-Aid kit. Basically, is all, and some ibuprofen. And a shot of whiskey. Charles Hapgood.
Charles Hapgood.
Shot of whiskey and a slap on the ass. That's my first aid
Charles
kit.
Hapgood kit.
Charles Hapgood kit.
Just linen, tar, and some Vaseline.
Maybe backbone if I get shot.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Some chaw.
Some shot.
Yeah, put that
You've
in
been
there.
in your daddy's
Got
jaw,
your
haven't
tummy
you?
here.
Have a Pepsi. Charles Hapgood.
That would be, yeah.
Yeah.
Your dad's kit just has a Pepsi in
I
it.
guarantee that's what my dad's kit has.
Where are we going with all this?
Why you got your first aid kit in the fridge?
I got Pepsi in there.
Yeah, that's where I like
You
it.
should get a tummy ache.
Again, then let's go. Or you want diabetes. Welcome to my family.
Sugar drop sometimes.
Yeah,
I
it's
need
true.
a Pepsi.
It does. So now let's move on to DIY kits. Doing it yourself. Here are the pros. You can build it to your specific specs. It can be exactly how you want it. You're never going to find a pre-built one exactly how you want it. You're just not going to.
You're not.
You can get exactly the brands you want and the number of items you like. This is basically the inverse of the cons on the other side. You can get the container or bag that you really like in the size that you really want. Because sometimes
That's a big deal.
It really is. Like I hate those ones that are like the plastic containers.
Yeah.
that-
When the first buckle breaks off.
Yeah, and
when you like
so
open
you gotta
it.
duct
It's like,
tape it.
Well, that kit never is going to
Now
close.
you pull
again.
out the medical tape to shut it. or it's just everywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, you can get the exact container, the size you want. There's no wasted space or like random garbage in there that you're never going to use.
Yeah. Got to be all about that.
Exactly. You can probably do it cheaper this way.
Yeah.
Especially if you're going to make a high quality kit, right?
Yeah,
it's gonna
exactly.
Be cheaper.
If you're going to go high quality and build your own, it's going to be way cheaper than
Yeah.
buying a high quality pre-made.
And also, like, you don't have to buy everything all at once. With that pre-made kit, like, if it's $200 or $300, or I don't know how much it's going to be, you got to pay it all up once at once. If you're going to make your own kit, you could say, okay, I'm going to spend $20 a month,
1,000 Band-Aids,
1,000 Band-Aids each month.
Yeah,
and now I'm good. I've got 12,000 Band-Aids at the end of the year.
Yeah.
But you
700 grams of lip balm.
700. Yeah, exactly. So you can spread that out over the
That's
whole
accurate.
year. That is accurate.
That's exactly how much it
Yeah.
costs.
You don't have to do it all at once.
Yeah.
The cons of that, though, it takes way more time.
It really does.
It takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
Right? You also have to have the knowledge of how to put that thing together, or you got to do the research, which you guys are all doing right now, which is great, but it's time consuming. It's taking up hard drive space in your brain.
Yeah.
All that kind of stuff, right? So that could be a con. You could miss something very important. Knowing me, I'm going to.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like, I built the best kit in the world, and I forgot to put Band-Aids in it or something stupid, right? So you're like, oh, well.
These kits can be stressful, honestly.
Yeah.
Like, it's one of the more stressful kits to put together.
Yeah.
And I feel like I should know better.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
should,
That's the other thing. I'm like,
did I do this right?
yeah.
Oh, no. Well, also, like, with you, though, there's, like, more scrutiny. Someone comes and looks at it. They're like,
Yeah.
you're a medical
That's what you
professional?
put in there?
That's what you put in there?
Pepsi?
Well, why you got goldfish in there?
I'm a kid, okay?
Yep. And sometimes, like, I know this is dumb, but I think about this. It doesn't look as good. It doesn't look as uniform or as slickly put together
Exactly.
as like one of those My Medic kits. Because those things are sexy, man.
They are.
They really
Yeah,
are.
you look like Ski Patrol.
Yeah.
With one on.
Ski Patrol. Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Like,
Ski Patrol.
you know, they got the backpack, big old plus.
I know, yeah. Yeah. Ski Patrol. Exactly.
Everybody likes to look like Ski Patrol.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean,
Charles.
we've all grown up wanting to be as cool as a Ski Patrol guy. You know.
I don't know, it just came to my mind.
Ski Patrol.
I always see him skiing around with a big plus on their back.
Yeah.
Is it a medic or is that just his outfit?
They just really like math.
Yeah.
Edition. Anyways,
Crossroads, my skis.
yeah. So that is the kind of the pros and cons of the DIY versus pre-made kits.
Yeah. And yeah. I derailed you a few times. I apologize.
Oh, that's all right. We made it through it.
So, basic or starter first aid kit and supplies is what I wanted to talk about. So,
This is the meat of it, right?
yeah. So, I'm glad I'm the one delivering it.
Exactly.
That's
You
the best
delivering-
person to deliver it.
You giving us the meat. Give us the meat, kid.
So, everybody wants my meat. Okay, here we
Yeah,
go.
medium rare, baby. Here it comes.
So, when you're building your first aid kit,
Mm-hmm.
first thing you're going to look at, like you'd already mentioned, is what kind of container or bag are you going to put all of your gear in?
Mm-hmm.
This is a big one for me because the last thing you want to be doing is like you were saying with those other kits that just explode. It's like I need a Band-Aid and it's at the bottom and it's all in one compartment.
Yeah.
And so you just dig everything out
Yeah,
and you can't
scalpels.
get it back in there. Yeah,
Yeah,
poke your
suture,
finger on
yeah.
a friggin'. And so you really need a nice organized either container or if you're using one large container, like put them in Ziploc bags so that you can and label them. But my favorites are those bags that kind of roll out and they kind of have everything tucked away in mesh pockets so you can actually see what's in that pocket.
Or the clear plastic on the top.
Yeah. And I mean, you can get anything like this, like Walmart sells all those little individual containers, like plastic Tupperware things, and you can just, they even come in a bigger one, so you just like put all your gear in those. Whatever way you do it, it's best to just organize it so that when you need something quickly, instead of having, Charles Hapgood standing there bleeding out, and you're like, "Where's my bandage?"
And he dies.
Yeah.
And now you've killed Charles Hapgood.
And everybody will kill you.
Yeah, you're done.
For letting him die.
Ugh.
You really need, like, a medical kit should be quick and accessible, and the items inside it quick and accessible. So, you want an organized pack. So you got to start there. If anything, you probably have Band-Aids and some things you can throw in it right off the bat. Get a good pack. And I don't mean, also, it doesn't need to be as durable as like a bug out bag. You don't need a nicely stitched, thick lumbar support backpack. They make a lot of cheap ones on Amazon. Super inexpensive, organized. You're not going to be packing that thing around a ton. It keeps all that organized so that you can just quickly move it place to place.
And again, this depends on what type of kit you're building. So
Yeah,
he's
maybe-
talking about just like a basic.
Exactly.
pack.
So this is more something that that's usually just at home.
Yep. Mhm.
You may take it from place to place, but it's not the one that you're going to throw in and bug out with.
Right.
You may take supplies from it, but it's going to be a huge kit.
Or you may just throw it in your truck. Right?
Yeah,
I mean,
exactly.
who
And
knows?
that's an easy thing to do too.
You
So,
do whatever you want with it.
yeah, this is it's a free country.
Take a bath with it. I don't care.
Yeah, you go ahead and do that.
Yeah.
And like I said, the nice thing about My Medic is they have everything individually packaged. So if you did just have one JanSport backpack that you want to make as your medical bag, buy stuff like this or little bins or bags that you can put them in. The next thing before getting into actual components is like put some manuals in there.
Yes.
I mean, do you spend every day looking over suturing
I do not.
and how to properly rinse out a wound or anything?
In fact, almost never do I
Yeah,
do
exactly. Why would you? So most people don't, unless they work in medicine, deal with this stuff on a daily basis. So there, like you can print virtually everything without paying. Like 3M, for example, has downloads for how to suture, and it has splinting guides. And you can just print them out, stick them in your pack. Dosage instructions for like pediatric meds, all that stuff can be printed, and I would put it in the pack so that you don't have to memorize it, or it's something to refer back to when you're treating childhood.
Yeah, I have like a little, almost like a backpackers type first aid manual.
Yeah,
and it's
those
tiny.
are sweet, man. There's a
Yeah.
whole bunch of them. My Medic even makes one of those. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
just buy a little medical guidebook, put it in with all of your gear, and then you'd be good.
Yeah, obviously it's better off to know that stuff right off.
Exactly, and
the
we'll
bat.
talk about the skill portion,
But
but you don't know.
you don't, yeah.
Time, and there's no harm in having a guide there.
Yeah.
Put a Bible one there, so you can be like
sure.
you can die. You want to confess any sins.
Last rites.
So I'm going to move on to the medical items, and we're just going to receive some scrutiny here. I've looked over a lot of different kits, and like I said, yes, I work in medicine, and I'm not necessarily selecting all of this just because of what I know. It's also from other guides that I've looked at and things I've used and things that I feel like my family will need. So here we go. Band-Aids, obviously, is going to be like the first thing I'm going to put in there. It's both psychological help for your kids.
For sure, yeah.
And the easiest thing to use. It's adhesive, has a little gauze on it. So plain and simple. I do love Coban. That's that Ace. It's like an Ace bandage stretchy wrap, but it sticks to itself. And you can get this stuff really cheap from like a animal store, like
And it's
Cow Ranch. Or
And it's got
Ace.
so many good uses too.
It does. You
Yeah.
can use it for like
Tons of stuff.
like bundling tools and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like it's so useful. Ace bandage isn't bad to have as well. I like the ones that have Velcro on them because sprains and things like that. Coban works. It's just not as good at like delivering that elastic compression that you need. So I have that as well. Medical tape. You just never know when like gauze bandage and stuff. Band-Aids aren't going to hold that on very well. Wrapping everything in Coban isn't the best option. So having some medical tape, and it's usually silk-based medical tape. There's a whole bunch of different forms if you're allergic to adhesive and all that stuff, but you can figure that out. Some kind of tape. Gauze. There's a lot of different types of gauze.
Man, there is.
For
Good
basic
gauze,
good
there
gauze.
is.
There's so much. For that one always comes up.
Yeah, kind of does.
There's some trauma gauze that Kobe will talk a little more about, but I'm just talking about like basic gauze. You can get gauze pads. You can get non-stick gauze, adhesive gauze. You can all kinds of types. I'm just saying, put some gauze in there. Good gauze, put some gauze in there. I like the roll gauze because you can kind of just add however much you want, just wrap it around, cut it off, and you can still use that. The pads are useful for a lot of things, so just get some of those. Shears, you're going to use those to cut that gauze or cut clothes off. That sounds awesome. But you never know. If you're trying to get to a wound really quick,
Got some
you need
bedroom
something.
shears.
So Leatherman makes a really awesome set that I have on my kit. And then
The Trauma X ones
those are
good
sweet,
too.
man. I really liked those.
In good price
I
too.
cut my Levi's clean off.
You did, yeah. That was a
with
great
those.
video. We need to repost that one at some point.
Safety pins, we've talked a bunch of times on their uses, not only to just hold bandages in place, but also you can pin a tongue to a bottom lip. Somebody got real worked up over that one.
Yeah.
Medical tape, I already did that one. Tweezers or forceps, whatever you want to call them, whatever field you work in. Pull slivers out, pick up little small items. The ends.
Yeah.
Everybody knows what tweezers for. Pluck eyebrows, that's number one use.
SHTF, you gotta look good.
I do have a chest seal and just my basic kit because gunshot wounds that's probably going to be one of your most important things. Is have a chest wound, but they're tiny. They're really like a thin little package you can just stuff in most kits. So I do add it to this, even though it's a little bit more advanced and traumatic for a trauma kit or something. But
we'll talk about a specific trauma kit later.
So most of these things are just like stuff that you would have in your medicine cabinet that you're going to put into your own, like a kit too. An irrigation syringe. So syringes, I've talked about how important they are. One, for administering medication to kids, like you need that accurate measurement, but also they're super useful to irrigate wounds and flush ears and stuff like that. So get you some syringes. Batterfly. This is the ones I use in the kitchen.
Yes, sir.
You gotta love your Batterfly bandage.
Yeah.
The butterfly bandages are nice to kind of approximate wound edges. So like you got a kind of a more open gash. They hold them together and then you can wrap it up. Zip stitch is kind of taken a better place of those, in my opinion, because they're a little better adhesive, and the thing is you can put them in place and then pull the wound.
So are steri strips kind of the same thing?
Steri strips are awesome. Yeah, they kind of are like a butterfly bandage.
A little
they're
bit.
just not shaped like that, but you can do the same.
Same kind of thing with those,
yeah,
right?
to one side and then pull it over. So yeah, that's another thing. Anything like that, a butterfly bandage, a zip stitch, or a steri strip would be perfect.
Yeah. Okay.
Aluminum splint. So for sprains and stabilizing a joint or a break, you're going to want that in there. Emergency blanket, that's more for a little more like trauma-based stuff, so I'm not going to talk about that. I do have them in a regular kit because it's an easy thing to throw in, plus the survival aspect of a emergency blanket. Gloves, if you're working on somebody in the neighborhood, you don't want their bodily
in the
fluid.
neighborhood.
Yeah. You never know. You never know.
Especially the kind of neighborhood we
But there's a
live
lot of uses. I've shown you can cut the finger off and use it like as a tourniquet on a finger wound. So
Fingerless condoms?
Yes.
Gloves?
Yeah, exactly. But, and then, so saline eye drops, if you get those big saline bottles and they have just a little nozzle on the top, you can use, you can put a lot of pressure behind those to squirt out wounds, irrigate eyes. So I do like to have a bigger bottle of saline. Just regular, like.
What brand?
Oh, yeah. There's so many brands, like we talked about. Brands. Sanitation wipes. Typically, I like the alcohol ones because you can just put the little pouches in each kit, you know. But you can buy the bigger container, like the Lysol ones that are alcohol only. Like I like those because you get a big sheet to kind of wipe things off and dried blood and all that stuff. Polysporin packets. Neosporin's what everybody goes to. I'm not a huge fan of Neosporin just because neomycin itself can be a little irritating. So you can get bacitracin or polysporin or any of those. They have less antibiotic in them, but
same thing though.
It's the same exact thing. It's just it takes one issue. It takes one of the antibiotics out that some people, but more people have issues with. So
okay.
I just eliminate that for allergic problems.
Yeah.
And then an N95, simple little mask put in there for, protecting you against a sick person and who knows, pandemic number 7 of the same pandemic.
Yes.
Let's just create the same. So anyway, with all of that gear, I mean, it's a lot and it's hard to go over when you can't read it. So we talked about posting it.
We'll post something
with like some links to places where you can buy some of them. So we'll get that up because listening to it's too hard to enjoy. So sorry about that.
Yeah. You want to look at it.
Yeah. You want to touch it.
Yeah.
So anyway, for a home kit, this is obviously like your biggest med kit that you have. And you can just kind of go crazy with this. You can be a whole duffel bag size of Band-Aids, or it's just a small Tupperware thing full of most of your home meds. Or it's just your medicine cabinet.
I have like 6 or 7 Tupperwares everywhere with stuff in it. Oh.
Yeah. tin can of those little cookies. Just open it up and it's all your Band-Aids.
It's all Band-Aids.
But the home kit is like the kit that's going to have most of the stuff that you need. One for emergencies like scrapes, cuts, scratches, things like that. But also some backup meds and things like that in it. Still needs to be organized, like I said. So even if you're not planning to travel with it, it's nice to just have it kind of in something that you can just pick up and go. Taking the whole kit to an injury or something makes it nice too. Like if it's all there, and somebody's hurt out in the yard, then you can actually just take it out there. It's not just all spread out on a shelf.
Yeah.
And these kits typically have tools and materials and medications in one large kit. So your home kit's kind of like your medicine cabinet with your first aid kit kind of combined in one. So it's just all put together with those items up above. And it can be more advanced based on your skill, your comfort level with what tools you're putting in it. And so we'll talk a little more about that.
Nice.
But I do want to talk about cybercrime.
Again?
Because it goes along with first aid kits.
Oh, for sure.
But no, we are constantly vulnerable online. We can have our information stolen at any second. So everyone should get something like Surfshark. It's a virtual private network that can protect you and all of your devices from online threats. It's like going gray man online. If you travel a lot, if you're going on public Wi-Fi a lot, this is something to really consider. The other thing I never mentioned, but that I like about Surfshark, even if it's not on, it'll warn you that you're on an unsafe network.
Yeah.
So it's pretty sweet. It's like,
awesome.
Oh, I better turn it on. It protects you from malware, phishing, obnoxious and unsafe emails and ads if you accidentally click, because it's putting your IP address in a whole nother location. So it looks like you're browsing the internet from Kentucky when you actually are in Utah.
I've never been to Kentucky.
Or you can connect to a server in the UK and even access their specific like BBC or online streaming network.
Behind the scenes coronation footage.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Okay.
So that's pretty cool. You can actually use it not only to protect yourself, but for entertainment. So go to surfshark.com, use our code CasualPreppers. You get 24 months plus an extra 3. So 27 months for less than $60. That's a huge deal. You're not going to find a better VPN for the price. Honestly, it's fast. It works well. The app's easy to use, and it covers all your devices, not just 5 or 2 or 3. It's not limited. So
we actually have a link in the show notes, guys. All of our stuff, there's a link to all of our sponsors. So it makes it so easy for you. Just pull it up, click it, you're there.
I've purchased this one for the last 2 years. So I've had 4 years of protection with Surfshark because it's hands down the best one to
Insane,
use.
Man. Insane. So we've mentioned some items for a trauma kit. So let's quickly go over some things that you would want to build for this trauma kit. So what is the trauma kit? This one kind of seems to be super popular in the prepper/gun world. It's like, I got to have my trauma kit on me all the time, right? Not a bad thing to think about, but it's a different thing than most first aid kits, right?
Yeah.
So they're meant to deal with major injuries, typically ones that are like life-threatening.
Right.
And they just basically to keep this person alive until you can get to a hospital or
it's kind
a
of funny
medical professional.
You see these a lot more.
Yeah.
When in reality, you're going to use the basic first aid kit.
Way more. Way more.
But yeah.
Not to say these aren't bad to have. I have one in my truck.
But people do jump to these before they've actually built a good first aid kit.
Exactly. So let's talk about what you would. There was a thing on My Medic that kind of talked about some of this stuff. I know they're not a sponsor, by the way. We've talked about it a lot today, but they are not a sponsor.
They're from Utah, right?
They are from Utah.
So that's why.
Yeah.
We're just that's a Utah company.
Hometown crowd, man.
Right.
So trauma kits, they're usually filled with like 100% actionable, like life-saving items. It's not stuff like just like prevention or recovery, like, medications and hydration stuff and Band-Aids. This is like life-saving stuff.
Yeah.
Right. They're typically smaller and they're going to be probably more expensive than regular first aid kits because of the products that are inside of these. They require like a more customized bag and case and they're just more expensive type products. Trauma kits have fewer items than a regular first aid kit, but the items need to be packed in a way that make them really easy to find in an emergency because obviously you're going to be using these when there's trauma.
The worst.
Yeah, the worst of the worst.
Medical scenario.
Yeah, so you've got to be ready with some of these. So let's look at a few items to include, which we've already talked about a few of these, but let's just kind of go through the basics of it. Number one is the tourniquet. right? This is the medical device that everybody's obsessed with.
Yeah.
And for good reason, right? Limbs make up
And they
50% of your body surface area.
Yeah.
And the tourniquets, again, they're proven safe and effective for stopping a life-threatening bleed in one of your limbs.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think I did it. Didn't we? It was a long time ago. We did a medical tip and talked about like the scare of tourniquets. Like,
Yes.
you're going to lose your. No, you're most likely to save someone's life than to ever cause damage.
Yep.
From a limb being,
Yeah.
without blood for.
I mean, know how to use it, obviously.
Yeah.
And they're all a little bit different. So you've got to find a tourniquet that works for you, that you understand how to quickly and safely put on, because some of them can be a little bit confusing, right?
I mean, most of the time, it's like the Strats tourniquet.
Yeah,
I'm just like
exactly.
wrapping it around, like I'm just flipping underneath like I do on the farm or something.
Yep, yeah.
But it is made to be more efficient and
Right.
more effective to like tighten the tourniquet.
So this is like somebody gets a hand cut off or a gunshot wound on the arm or the leg,
Yeah.
and they're just bleeding out profusely, and you've got to stop that, right? So that's what the tourniquet is for. That's a traumatic event. You've got to stop that, get them to the hospital. Tourniquets, get one for your trauma kit. The next one is pressure dressing.
Yeah.
Right? Again, Cam knows
There's
about
a
this
lot
stuff.
of these. Yeah, like pressure dressing is basically like gauze with ACE already attached to it. So
that
you
makes
can
sense.
actually like apply the gauze to collect the blood, and kind of help stop the bleeding, and you can use it kind of like a tourniquet, but you're applying pressure without having to use
That
your
makes
hands.
so you're applying
They're
pressure
weird
with the
looking
dressing.
bandages, but that's their purpose. I mean, it's in the title.
Exactly.
Pressure
Yeah.
dressing.
So that's a great one to put in your trauma kit, obviously.
Yeah.
Chest seal. Cam talked about these earlier. That's obviously when you have a penetrating chest trauma, like anywhere. They were saying from the neck to the navel, front, side, back, all that stuff of the chest. Because you don't want. It's not controlling the bleeding. It's keeping air from entering the chest cavity, right? And
it's just a big sticker.
That's all it
that
is, yeah.
allows it to breathe out. So I mean, so that it's
I saw like a DIY. Like if you didn't have one,
Plastic
like
bag?
somebody was using like a credit card and tape or something like that.
Yeah.
I saw. Again,
So
I thought
you
it
got
was
that
interesting.
negative pressure, so anything's gonna suck back and close that wound. So you need something to do that. But this allows you to actively breathe and not have to hold your finger in the hole.
Yeah, and they're just it's just like
No one wants to keep the finger in the hole.
no, but they're
I
like
learned that in medical school.
yeah, it was on the test.
Get your finger out of the hole.
It was on the test. I got 100%.
First question. What's your name? Do you put the finger in the hole? How long do you keep the finger in the
I
hole?
wish this was multiple choice. I just put C down. But they like take up no room. Right?
Yeah,
They're
it's
tiny.
like a piece of paper.
Yeah, so chest seal is a great thing to have in there. Wound packing. This is Carelix gauze. I don't know what the sterile Carelix gauze. It's intended to plug holes in the body.
Yeah.
Right.
Again. Keep your finger out of the hole.
Yeah. And then it has like they talked about the hemostatic dressings, but they have the stuff that
Quick clot already
the
built
quick
in.
clot
It's
built
pretty
in.
cool stuff. Like, I haven't used any of these myself, but makes sense.
So is that what those are? Is like those
The
Israeli
ones are,
bandages
yeah.
have the?
They're like super
impregnated-
absorbent, so they can, and then also they have that quick clot in them, so you can kind of just you slap that in the hole and put some pressure on it, and it's doing a lot of the work. So.
Obviously, this is not something you use if you slice your finger a little bit with your pocket knife. You don't get to
Don't put it in your mouth or in any other orifice.
No, this is-
unless it's
yeah.
a torn open one.
Yes, exactly. So that's another thing to put in there. Emergency blanket. We talked about this earlier too. Hypothermia is one of those things I'm learning for a trauma patient is very bad.
Yeah.
It's a horrible thing to happen. You start losing blood. That results in shock. And then it's just like a cycle that's not good for a trauma patient. So having an emergency blanket, again, like Cam said, these things are weightless. They're tiny. Throw it in there, especially in a trauma kit, because you're going to need to keep their body temperature up. And
There's
you don't
like
want
so
it to
many
drop.
uses anyway. So it's
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
have it in there.
And I didn't know this, like when your core temperature drops and like the clotting ability goes down or something.
Like messes
so
it, yeah.
yeah, so it's really interesting. So yeah, it's much easier to prevent hypothermia than it is to treat it. So just keep that in there. You could throw it on somebody who's in shock or whatever.
Yeah, and at one point we talked about like all the different forms of shock, and like this is always applied. you know, unless it's,
Exactly.
unless you're heat stroke. But
Yeah, so that's an emergency blanket. The next one is trauma shears. We talked about that too. You may have to cut somebody's pants off. You may have to cut them out of a car, like a seatbelt or something.
they're so useful.
They're
like
super useful. Or you might just have
don't
to
try and cut paper with them though. It's so
Doesn't
funny.
work,
It's like they're so amazing to. You can with some, but it's weird. Like they just it just
Don't
doesn't
work
I
right.
tried to cut some. I tried to for one, Christmas wrapping paper.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing can cut that stuff without just ruining it.
Nah.
But I tried to. I was like, I got some trauma shears. Like, just like ripped it all to pieces.
That's
Anyway.
fine. And the last one that Cameron put in here was markers.
Yeah,
You want to explain that one
just
for me?
like a lot of those like active shooter kits and trauma kits come with something that you can mark people that you're taking care of.
I see, yeah.
Right on their forehead, on their arm, or where how long they've been.
Draw a dick on their forehead or something.
Right. Dead.
Probably won't live.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only reason I threw that
Yeah,
in there.
that
is
makes
'cause
sense, yeah.
They're part of all those kits because then you can help kind of triage with those little markers.
Yeah.
You gotta, yeah. Hello Kitty on your cheek.
Yeah, there you go.
You should be feeling better.
Yeah, draw a Hitler mustache on somebody and walk away.
He's bleeding now, but look at him.
We can all laugh about it. Laughter is the best
Who
medicine.
drew all these mustaches?
Not supposed to do that.
I don't know. I have to have this marker in there.
Yeah, that's another Seinfeld.
Is it?
The guy's like, he
Always-
goes
Like
into
every
shock.
episode brings one of those up.
Yeah, I know. Like a guy, like he passes out like from diabetic shock or some weird thing, and there's like, what are we supposed to do? What are we supposed to do? He probably needs something to eat. So they put like a cookie in his mouth and try and make him like eat it. And then the EMTs come and like, who put cookies in his mouth? You're not supposed to do that. That's why I just thought about that.
Yeah, that one sounds good.
That's a good one. Yeah.
So medications, I left that out of the first list because
Yeah.
there was enough there to bore you to death.
Yeah.
So, but on the medication, so a home kit, you can go crazy here.
Oh man. Yeah.
Basically, you're going to take your medicine cabinet and duplicate it and take it down and put it in your at-home kit. And
Can you do that duping? Remember in Diablo when you could dupe stuff?
Yeah.
You take it out and pick it up at the same time, and it would dupe it in your belt.
There's still like games that have those bugs.
Yeah.
But I know that sounds funny, but like in all honesty, we don't stock up on these meds that are readily available. And we saw
Yeah.
with like the pandemic, ibuprofen was like
Oh my god.
gone. It was you couldn't touch it at first, and then it was
Yeah, then
gone.
it was like everybody wanted it.
So
Yeah.
but like make a backup basically
Mm-hmm.
of your medicine cabinet. And I kind of just go through the list of like items that you can get over the counter. So you got pain, number one. That's what, most of the things,
Mm-hmm.
most of the medications that are purchased are pain meds.
For pain, yeah.
So Tylenol, ibuprofen, stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Then you go like with your eyes, get some allergy drops or saline drops. Like I said, that saline can be used to irrigate wounds and other things, so it's useful in other ways. And then ENT, like allergy meds. I usually have like Claritin, Zyrtec, or and then I always have Benadryl too. So it's an older generation antihistamine, but it tends to work for other reasons. Sometimes
Plus-
nausea, sometimes for sleep. So
Plus, it can help you sleep.
yeah, it does.
This is
big
like
time.
I was reading something
Whereas
the other
the
day.
newer ones are supposed
Was
to.
saying that like any OTC like sleep meds basically like Benadryl.
It is almost every single one of them.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's only like a very few that I've noticed
It's pretty
are
funny.
not. So yeah, you got multiple uses with that.
Mm-hmm.
And for really bad allergies, it's usually the better one. And you can with allergies, you can double up. You can do like an antihistamine, non-drowsy in the morning, and do a Benadryl at night.
Ah,
So
okay.
there's no harm in that.
Yeah.
Stomach meds, obviously, nausea. Like I would go if you can have some Zofran prescription usually, but that stuff works really well.
It does, yes.
And there's other anti-nausea meds that don't work so well, but have them on hand. Somebody's going to get a tummy ache
Oh, guaranteed.
almost every time. And then GI, so diarrhea, constipation, everything to combat those because those are common too.
Cam's Cure All.
Yep. Pepto,
Imodium.
Docusate, that's an Imodium, and then Miralax, like anything to kind of balance those things. You really should have some backup to both help the flow and stop the flow.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about butthole stuff, not the other stuff.
Yeah. That ain't gonna help.
I want to talk about other stuff. Skin. There's a ton of creams out there.
Oh man,
Can't share all.
Yeah,
That's what you should get. But hydrocortisone cream, antibiotic cream like the polysporin, bacitracin, and stuff like that. So there's a lot of those out there. Moisturizing creams, serums. There's a ton of them.
serums.
Then you're going to look at rehydration. You can get rehydration salts. LMT is a great one.
Element, dude. Dude, I'm obsessed with it.
And then I always kind of bring up prescriptions here because if you have prescription medications, you got to have that plan, 90 days, and have a backup plan and supplies because that is probably the most vulnerable area in medicine.
Oh, yeah.
Losing those meds. And then an antibiotic. For those of you that don't listen to directions and have leftovers, then store them. You know, there's no problem in doing that.
Or like contingency med or...
Finish your med. There is a problem in not finishing your antibiotic. But then the thing is, like, that's probably the easiest thing to do is to consider one of those pre-built, like, antibiotic kits. Contingency med has... like 4 different antibiotics. They're all prescriptions, and you meet with a provider before they send them to you.
Yeah.
So it's probably the easiest way, unless you have really good connections.
What was the other one?
There's
can't
2 of them now. But yeah, so they even have. So the one that I have has 4 different antibiotics. It has Zofran in it, and it has scopolamine in it, which is for motion sickness, and then something else. Not Percocet or Xanax. Sorry.
Ah, darn it.
And then for portable med kits, I like to use like a medicine organizer, the little week long, and I usually like put on the bottom, I write with a Sharpie.
It's just all Imodium,
stomach.
Right?
It's all stomach.
It's all stomach.
Every one of them.
Everything.
I usually it's tiered. Like easiest meds to the most advanced.
Like one side's Taco Bell, the other side's McDonald's.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yeah, then you can like write on the bottom antihistamine, pain medicine, and all those, allergy medicine. And so it's nice. The only thing is you got to make sure you get a good one because I've had mine pop open often. And then I'm like, I don't know which one. Let's take them all.
Yeah. Just take a suicide. Yeah.
But yeah, so those are nice because you can carry in any kit. You could add to any kit the little medicine organizer that has all those meds in them.
Yeah.
Don't put liquids in them, by the way.
Just pour some Pepto in one of the things.
It all leaked out.
Dang it.
All my pills are fused together. And then the other thing is you can buy like individual packet meds, like Advil in a 2-pack. And those are nice.
Or just steal them from work.
Yeah. If there's a first aid kit on the wall, pop it open and take some of those things.
Put those in your kit.
And these little packets should be added to your first aid kit. I explained earlier. I just was going over mostly like the medical supplies.
Yeah, sure.
Not so much the medicine. And then advanced meds to consider. Like I said, antibiotics can be tough, so consider something like contingency medical, or if you have a really close doctor friend, see what they'll do for you.
Give me one of those.
Steroids. Those are really nice to have on hand for a lot of reasons, but you got to know how to use them.
Get on the gear, boy.
They're hard to get without a purpose. Stronger pain meds. Had a tooth pulled, had some dental work, or had a surgery, and you have those. And I'm very cautious talking about this because it's a problem. I mean, people sniff them out, steal them. Your kids can get into them. So these are dangerous, but it's a good idea to maybe save some somewhere in a safe, like probably in a safe itself. Insomnia meds, love them. Got to have them because sometimes you just need that reset, And if you're in high stress scenarios, on edge, you don't know what's going on, and you just like somebody, you're going to need some decent sleep.
Yep.
Some form of insomnia med, which can be Benadryl, it can be, Ambien, it can be something like that. So, and a lot of these are, prescription based, but it's just something to think about. Anxiety and depression meds, there's a lot of ways to treat this naturally. We've talked about St. John's wort and things like that. But if you have some backup meds for anxiety, it's good to have those on hand, stored away safely. Fish antibiotics in an emergency only can be used. We talked about that they're manufactured similar. Their dosages, everything is pretty much the same. But again, this would be like the last thing.
Right.
If you had no other choice and you had fish antibiotics, they're going to help.
Right.
burn kits. They have sprays, ointments, special hydration bandages and things like that. It's good to have those. I mean, burns are probably the second most common things. Like kids are either scraping things or cutting, and then the seconds they get burned.
Yeah, we got a burn kit from Battlebox a while
That was great.
back.
I
love it.
I used like half of it
it's
for my
great.
kids burning their hands and stuff. I burn. It's teaching them a lesson, okay?
Put your hand out.
Don't worry, I can spray it. Lidocaine injectable if you're going to be doing any suturing, and then again, like I said, consider contingency medical or similar that has a way for you to just meet with the provider, and they'll send you several different prescription medications that you can just store away. So
Yeah, I like that.
Whew,
Good
got a lot of
stuff.
stuff.
A lot of stuff, yeah. Let's talk about a couple of our portable kits, starting with the EDC FAC. So this is like your everyday carry first aid kit. One, honestly, you're going to use a ton, maybe more than any of the other ones.
Pretty much the one I carry the most.
Yeah, because it's with you all the time. This is one that you're going to either keep in your EDC bag or your vehicle or on you if you're a crazy person at all times. Imagine just having a first aid kit on you
I have
at
it
all
on my
times.
ankle at all times.
Yes, exactly. This should be able to handle everyday type medical situations, cuts, headaches, stomach issues, burns, all that kind of stuff, right? But it needs to be pretty compact because you don't want to take a big old boy with you everywhere you go. Again, this is EDC. You got to be...
Your home kit has a lot for your whole family. Like, this one's going to be like you and maybe one other.
Yeah, in anything that might come up during the day, right? So you may also include a few additional items in this just in case you happen upon a more dire situation. So maybe that EDC kit becomes your get home first aid kit, or you come up on a car accident and this is all you have. So you just kind of have to decide, what is your situation? What are you planning for? Just because my EDC kit specifically kind of doubles as a get home bag as well a little bit. So, I may beef up my first aid kit a little bit just in case. And if obviously if SHTF happens and you're at work, that's what you have.
Yeah.
So just be aware of that. So you've got to have the basics in there. Cam's already talked about all this stuff: Band-Aids, OTC meds, allergy meds, electrolyte mixes. I always have those with me. Element, again, has replaced anything I've had with the electrolyte mix because they all taste good. And it's probably the best mix it's basically rehydration salts.
Super good.
So freaking good. Obviously some gauze, all that kind of normal stuff you have to have in there. Again, we talked about this earlier too. Some people like to make this EDC more like a first aid kit / trauma kit, especially in the prepper gun world. So you just kind of have to decide. For me,
do you want your compression bandages and your Israeli? Yeah,
is that how you want to do it? I don't know. You can decide. So that's your EDC first aid kit. Now let's talk about the bug out bag first aid kit. This is going to be the first aid kit that's in your bug out bag. If you have to leave,
it's like your portable home med kit. This is trickier.
This one's pretty tricky, yeah. So this basically has to have everything you need for at least 72 hours, but it's not just a regular old 72 hours. It's not like a Tuesday through Thursday, during your work week. This is going to be something that is a dire situation, right?
Yeah.
Most likely you're using this, if you're using your bug out bag, you're going to be in situations like natural disasters, riots, fires, there's going to be firearms
all at the same
used.
time.
Yeah, all at the same time. You're going to be hiking, you might be running, there might be some crazy driving going on. So this kit needs to kind of almost be like your EDC plus kind of like a trauma plus part of your home kit. Like it's kind of a little bit of everything.
It is.
So this one might be the most tricky because
I think it is. This is the one probably that I stress the most about.
Yeah,
I was like,
yeah.
It's like I can do more. Like I carry a little bit more because I've done suturing and stuff. So, but I'm like, man, it's more space and
weight.
Yeah,
and
so
so
it's
that's
just
why it gets tricky. But it also needs to include any personal medical needs in this kit, like your daily meds, or if you have some like weird device to keep you going for some reason. I don't know, whatever that might be. Again, one of those vintage dialysis machines you got to take with you.
Yeah. Maybe run on batteries. I don't know.
Who knows? We don't know. Everybody's different.
It's not my place to judge.
No. I just want you to stay alive. I don't care how you do it.
I have 2 titanium backup rods from my lower leg.
Yeah. I got 3 Johnson rods in the bag. Personal. These
are medical grade.
Medical grade. So basically, you got to include everything in your EDC and trauma kit in here, pretty much. But also, you want to make sure you have good stuff for like the mobility injuries. Like Cam talked about
yeah.
the medical tape, the ACE bandages, the Coban, the Sam Splint stuff, because again, you're going to be hiking with a pack. We don't know.
Yeah.
And those things are going to happen. Like someone's rolling an ankle.
For sure.
Guarantee it. Yeah, it's happening. So you need to be ready for it, right? Also, if you're bugging out, you may want to include some other things. Cam can yell at me for any of these, but
no, these are good because this is perfect because a lot of this I left out of the home kit because of this reason. This is what it's for.
Right. So antibiotics, you may want them in your bug out bag first aid kit. I don't know. You don't know what you're going to happen upon. You're not at home. You won't have your home antibiotics, so consider it. I'm not saying you have to have these things. I'm saying this is a list of things to consider. You might have to have an EpiPen, depending.
Yeah. If you need one, you should have one.
Yeah, in your bug out bag.
Should be like your priority.
Yes.
Number 1 priority med.
Yeah, potassium iodide. Is this a nuclear event? Will a nuclear event arise even if you didn't know it was going to? Who knows?
Maybe your potassium and your iodine's low. I don't know.
Perfect for that. Perfect.
Made for it.
Yeah. A suture. We don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe you know how to use it. Maybe you don't.
Yeah. See, and I mean, this wasn't in my main, it's in mine, but I left that out of everybody's basic kit because maybe you don't know how to suture.
Right.
Why pack up on them? I mean, there's reasons. I mean, it's like, well, my neighbor.
Yeah.
He's a vet. And so,
exactly.
But you have to put some thought into
definitely do
why you want to have it and if you're ever going to use it.
And I put rehydration salts like an element in this, but I think honestly you need to have that in your kit. I feel like it's a must-have.
Yeah.
I don't know. Face masks, moleskin, man.
And that was another one. A lot of people put that one in their regular kits.
Yeah.
And I think that's a great idea, but it makes more sense in the bug out scenario. It's
exactly.
You're going to use that for blisters and stuff.
Something to irrigate a wound, like Cam was talking about the hell. Now I just lost the word. Yeah, saline and the freaking syringe. God, frick, I couldn't get the word. Yeah, so that's probably not a bad idea. And then a first aid guide / book.
Yeah.
So
I think this is one a lot of people got it up here.
Yeah, my mind library.
Seriously, if anybody knows medicine well, you know that you don't know it all. If maybe you're going to run into some different things that you're going to want a guide.
Yeah.
So even working in medicine, I want a guide. So it's recommended that everybody have
just
a guide.
One. So that's your bug out bag first aid kit, right? But the last one I want to talk about is your vehicle kit. This one can definitely be like a combination of several types of kits or just a combination of kits. Like for me personally, I have my EDC first aid kit and I have a trauma kit on my back seat, but then I also just have a regular old kit under the seat. I got a ton of stuff because I'm always in my truck.
I know.
Right? But you can get specific vehicle first aid kits. They make the ones that are vehicle / boat. I don't know why it's always /boat.
I know.
But how many people,
that's true.
It should be /
Are they waterproof, I wonder? Is that why?
I guess maybe. But you can always get
all
those.
Of this stuff floats.
Yeah.
All your Band-Aids are just spread out.
This is specifically for first aid on a lake.
I usually just put a line on it and drag it behind me on the boat.
Yeah, exactly.
Doesn't take up any space. It's just out there.
Yeah. A
In the
little more
water.
drag for the engine, but that don't matter.
Yeah, 1 or 2 knots down.
Yeah, no biggie, no biggie. So anyways, that's your vehicle kit.
Yeah. I'm just going to get one of those. Have you seen those Samsung robots? Put my first aid kit in there. Just going to drive around the house, follow you around.
Yeah.
It's always right there.
Yeah, exactly.
So items there's a ton of different medical items, and there's a lot of these that this is the skill based and what you think is necessary. I mean, this might be priority stuff to you, but not to everybody.
Most people probably not.
So there's a lot of stuff that falls into some of these kits and trauma kits that you just may never use. So it's not a priority item. So decompression chest needle. This is really advanced medic type. If somebody was in the military and a medic, they would be the ones using something like this.
Right, yeah.
ER docs and stuff like that. So don't worry about buying that stuff. Eye shield and eye cup,
sure.
Something to rinse out eyes. Most of the time a facility is going to have that. Not a bad idea to have in your home kit, but overall it's not a priority item. So CPR masks kind of go both ways. I do have one in my car. If I came up on an accident, I probably would want to protect my mouth from other people throwing up into it when I'm trying to get.
It's not ideal.
So I think this isn't. It's not a super necessary thing. In the event family member, you're just going to mouth the mouth. Like, you're just going to get them, do whatever you can. Suture kits, like, it falls on this list because a lot of people, they're like, I want to have that. But if you don't really have the skill or have anybody that can use it, it's a cost that you don't need. And so you may not even want to consider it. And so
I saw my grandpa fake his way through a suture one time.
Some people can.
I don't get it.
It's not, yeah.
I can't believe he did it. I was like 14 years old. We're up at the lodge. Some guy was gutting a fish and sliced right here. And it was like gashed open.
If you just sew material, it's the same thing.
He's like, all right, come over here, I'll fix it. And I'm like, what? He's really going to do that? Like no numbing, nothing. Just freaking did it. I'm like, oh my gosh.
So some people are like that, and some people are willing to do that on the spot. So maybe the suture kit is more important to you. Diagnostic items like blood pressure cuff, stethoscope, I have said before, have these. I think it's a good idea to have them, but they might not be necessary for your kit. Like,
sure,
if you're never going to use them, you don't feel like they're something that. So, knives, scalpels, multivitamins, things that they're just semi-important.
Sure. Iodine,
hydrogen peroxide. I feel like it has more use. So
yeah.
But a lot of these trauma kits and stuff have NPA tubes and OPA. Yeah. It's like you got these somebody that doesn't know what they're doing shoving a tube through your nose down to your airway. Like, it's kind of scary to think about. So if you really don't know how to use them, I wouldn't bother. I wouldn't bother having them.
Sure.
And then an advanced face shield or basically protective medical gear.
Yeah.
It's not a bad idea to have, but don't go out of your way of making a whole kit with all of that stuff in it.
Yeah.
Because most of the time, you're going to be treating your family.
Exactly.
And so,
yeah,
I'm not going to worry so much about blood splattered in my face.
Hey, Cam, if you didn't know, electrolyte deficiency or imbalances can cause headaches, cramps, fatigue, and weakness. Did you know that?
Yeah.
You did, yeah.
Love it.
As people who want to be prepared and ready for anything, the last thing you need is something that will slow you down when you need to be ready the most. That's why we at Casual Preppers have teamed up with Element. We've already talked about these guys 5 times in this episode.
Yeah.
That's how important it is. Element is a tasty electrolyte drink mix with everything you need and nothing you don't. That means lots of salt, 0 sugar. That's the beautiful thing about this stuff. Element is formulated to help anyone with their electrolyte needs and is perfectly suited to folks following a keto, low carb, or paleo diet. We think Element is perfect for bug out bags and EDC kits. Element contains science-backed electrolyte ratio, 1,000 milligrams of sodium, 200 milligrams of potassium, and 60 milligrams of magnesium. It's basically like rehydration salts, right?
Rehydration salts taste like crap.
They do.
These I want to drink just sitting at home.
They're delicious. Navy SEALs, FBI sniper teams, Marines, they all use Element. Casual Preppers listeners can get a free Element sample pack when you make any purchase through our exclusive Casual Preppers link. That's the only way you can do it, guys. The Element sample pack includes 1 packet of every flavor. This is great because you get a test. You can find out the one you like. Let me tell you, you're going to like citrus.
Oh,
you're going to like orange.
Watermelon's good too.
Yeah, and I just heard pretty soon grapefruit's coming.
Oh, man. Oh, okay. I'm buying it.
I'm buying it too. They offer no questions asked refunds on all orders. You don't even have to send it back. It's like, why not even just try it? You're going to love it. This offer may be claimed by first-time and returning Element customers. Use our link every single time, you guys. You're going to get that free sample pack. This offer is exclusively available through VIP Element partners. You're not going to find this anywhere. There's not going to be promo codes. You have to follow the link to get this. Head to our link, drinkelement.com/casualpreppers. Get your order and your free sample pack. That is drinkelement.com/casualpreppers. Just go to the show notes, click the link, and go get it. You're not going to, anytime I go to jiu-jitsu 3 times a week, I'm drinking this stuff.
We've gotten a lot of different little drink mixes, and I've never purchased any of them.
Yep.
I went and purchased this on my own.
Yeah.
Because I want to have them available. I was craving it when I had COVID because I was just sitting around sweating. But yeah, for exercise, everything. It's just an awesome.
It's beautiful. Awesome. Cam already talked about a couple of these, but here's a few additional items.
Which is so funny. It's to consider. You don't need these, but consider these.
Yeah. Pulse oximeter. You can just get one of those on Amazon.
Yeah, you can get them anywhere now.
Wow, interesting.
Walgreens.
Cool.
Actually, you can get them at Walmart too. So.
Yeah. A nebulizer. Those are great if you have anybody with asthma.
Nebulizers they're huge. The thing is, it used to be a big old compressor and tubing. Now you just get a handheld. It's the size of a pop can.
Yep. Yeah.
You have one?
I do have one.
I thought so.
Yep. An otoscope.
Yeah.
Got to get one of those, right? The BP cuff. Cam talked about that earlier, I think. But I like the the auto ones, so you don't have to like figure out like counting and listening and trying to figure out how to get the blood pressure. I can't do it. So those are nice to have. Suture kits, we talked about that. Stethoscope, maybe a dental kit even. I mean, no, I know that's not necessarily medical, but it's kind of within the
I
realm.
think it's a huge deal. Yeah.
Crutches.
They cost $4 billion.
Oh yeah, you might as well get your own kit, save some money.
A couple crowns in there.
Crutches. I mean, how often does something happen and if you didn't have crutches, you couldn't get around, right?
Yeah, I think the crutches, that's a great idea. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Orthoglass splint material?
Yeah, that sorry, there's supposed to be an R in there.
Okay, orthoglass.
Orthoglass is that stuff that it's gauze on the outside and it has this like a one layer of casting material.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They're so nice. Like it is a little more expensive, but it's like the best stuff for making your own splints. So.
Nice, I like that.
But yeah, these like we've said before, like being able to deliver vitals to someone, like if you called someone, you know, and you're trying to get help from somebody else, like this stuff would be super helpful. So
for sure,
just a matter of how much you plan to do on your own. And that comes down to skill training, and that's what the last thing I want to talk about was like most of us can put a Band-Aid on and wrap something in gauze, but beyond that, like what do you do? What do you do if it starts looking infected? When and should you pre-treat, you know, with antibiotics? You know, are you treating prophylactically, and when should you do that? Like these are all things that you're going to have to learn, and you're not always going to be able to have medical, you know, you're going to have Medscape or WebMD or anything to look at. So printing guides and you know, maybe taking a skills course on how to do these things.
I would love to actually, like a little class.
Suturing, stapling, and stuff like gluing, like managing wounds and closing wounds is super fun, and it's just a matter of coordinating your hands together. Like it's not like super. There are some really fancy suturing techniques and speed and all that, but like just learning the basic suturing. And getting your hands just kind of used to how to like do it efficiently.
All the dexterity of it all,
yeah,
right?
Exactly. And so having all of your suture kits and all that stuff when you don't really know how to suture, like how often are you going to actually be the one to do that?
That's why like we got that thing from Battlebox too, where you could practice.
I was
the
just going to
sutures.
say, like that's a good idea anyway, because you could use that equipment for a real suture.
Yeah,
and you can practice.
Yeah.
That's probably the way I would go if you. If you're going to buy a suture kit, I'd buy a suture practice kit because the material in there could be used.
Yeah, and Battlebox may have them on their website. You might as well just go try and see because it's kind of a cool
like
little
$30
deal.
to $40. So
yeah,
they have a little rubber that has a bunch of lacerations that you can practice on. I still use it. I still practice on it from time to time. You know, just sitting around watching TV, suture some stuff.
Let's get something done.
But really, like you need to review basics of, you know, basic life support.
Yeah.
You know, airway, you know, all that stuff is like, it's just never reviewed very often unless you're in the medical field.
It's like the last time I did that.
This is the most important thing for most everyone. It's like,
I think the last time I did that was when I had my first baby. They made us take like some sort of like a basic infant life support thing.
Yeah.
At the hospital.
That's right. Yeah.
It's like the last time I ever had it. But like my kids took a babysitting course this summer and they got the basic life support stuff, you know? So, yeah.
But yeah, that basic life support is what most everyone is going to have to apply to anybody that's, you know, medically sick or a trauma case or something like that. That's what your role is going to be. And CPR, you know, learning how to do it, that changes from time to time of how many compressions, how often, and when to switch and stuff like that. Choking, Heimlich maneuver stuff. Like
they don't call it the Heimlich maneuver anymore, right?
Heimlich?
I thought they didn't call it that
anymore.
I don't know.
Do they not?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I heard something.
Anyway.
We know what we're talking about.
Probably not. It's offensive.
Yeah.
Heimlich was probably a Nazi or something. Just kidding.
Yeah. Probably.
So Heimlich.
Yeah.
And then it's not a bad idea to just review like how a defibrillator actually works if you have one in a workplace.
Yeah, we have one here.
They
probably know how to work.
Practically walks you through it.
Does it?
Like it'll tell you like apply patches and but it's nice to just maybe look at a video of like, oh, how does this work? And then hemorrhage control, like applying pressure, tourniquet, stuff like that is always good to kind of review exactly how to use it, how, you know, and what you're looking for when you're actually in that scenario.
Prepper's Medical Handbook probably has all that stuff.
It does have like pretty much all of this. And then basic wound care is good to know. Like, well, not only that, like basic wound care and then basic like cold
Yeah.
and seasonal virus care.
Oh, yeah.
It's like my biggest thing is like people don't know when they it's fine. I mean, you seek medical attention when you feel like you need to, but 99% of the time it's can be managed at home. So learning those things are going to be crucial in any of these scenarios that we've talked about. It's like if you have to do your own medical care, you're going to be super grateful you have at least books and printouts, or you've had some skill training. So.
Nah, just keep it in my mind library.
Yeah, exactly.
Remember?
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
That was a lot. There's a lot of stuff, and I kind of went through it pretty quick. You've heard it before, and so I just build your own. Like,
do it.
Start selecting all the good medical devices that you love the most and put them in your own kit.
I love it, Cameron.
Yeah, I do too.
Thank you guys for listening to that because we had a good time. But we got a freaking ton of reviews to do real quick. We're gonna go through some awesome stuff. Let's start with the Going Gear EDC Club. The first item in the box is the Monster Dog Kubi knife. Almost sounds like Kobe knife, but it's Kubi.
Yeah. Somebody probably is like, that isn't his name?
So many people still call me Colby and Cody.
know,
People I know really well.
You get an L in there a lot.
Gosh, yeah.
There you go.
My name is like the Christmas song. Noel.
Yeah.
All right. So that's stupid, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have the giant mouse ace nibbler. It's a little purple knife,
It's
I
a
think,
teeny
right?
little knife.
Yeah.
Cute little one to give your girlfriend, your boyfriend. Whatever you want to do with that.
Or whatever. Yeah, give it to your girlfriend, boyfriend. Then we have the giant mouse swag pack. That has some cool stickers and freaking patches and whatnot.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Then we got the Waka coffee.
Seriously, looks like
Instant
makeup to me.
coffee. Yeah, it does look like makeup. So that's the Going Gear EDC
cool.
Club. Great stuff.
Coffee.
Always have good stuff there. Always. I'm afraid this is going to get spilled. And we got the latest Battlebox mission. 99, my friends. One away from the big 100 century. The first item in the basic box is the Battlebox camping tripod. It comes in a nice little leather pouch. You can make a tripod. And
That's genuine.
Genuine. Yes, sir.
That's cool.
Then we have the Roaring Fire Ember pouch. It's a sweet little EDC gear pouch. You can't ever get enough of those things, man.
Yeah. I like the Roaring Fire stuff. It's like really rugged. It's been tested.
And then just in time, we got the Bleed Stop pack. 20 grams. I don't know what that means, but there's 20 grams of it probably. That's probably what it means.
Drink a little bit.
Yeah. And then we got the Night Eyes Loopable 2-pack twist tie, 24-inch. That's 2 feet, brah.
All kinds of uses with these little twisties.
Yeah. Then we got the
Farmer's best
gosh,
friend.
yeah.
They probably throw it aside and just pull out his bite.
I know. Then the Tactica K100 pocket knife. Sweet little
Yeah, I like the
pocket
look of
knife.
this one.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. I'm not even take it out.
Then we got the Bushnell Cellucor cellular trail camera with a 32 gigabyte SD card.
Oh, nice. They
Take
never
that.
come with a card.
Nah. Then the last but not least in the
Catch
Pro.
your Bigfoots right there.
Oh, good luck. They know about that.
They do.
Sonar, LiDAR,
designed
radar. And then we have the Survival Edge Garab knife.
Is that this big sucker?
Yeah.
Look at that. Mahogany.
Mahogany. It's pocket wood, actually.
Okay. What's pocket wood?
That's right there. That's pocket wood.
It's a sweet looking knife.
Pocket wood for a pocket knife.
Yeah, need some bleach, dog.
Right away. So that's the
that
latest
in my hand.
Battlebox. Use our code Casual Preppers. You're going to get a free knife when you go buy one of those. Then we got the latest friggin' Crate Club. My gosh, look at us go. So the first item in the Crate Club is the Tactica M100 multi-tool. Cool little multi-tool you can keep right in your pocket.
You can turn stuff on and off.
No doubt.
Take bolts off.
And then we have the Gear Tie reusable rubber twist tie, 64-inch. Oh, yeah. Yes, sir.
Had another one of those earlier.
Put that over there, don't get it mixed up with yours. Then we have the Humvee folding shovel. This thing's pretty cool, actually.
Yep. This thing is pretty awesome.
Neat little shovel.
Yeah. It's a good one.
Dig your own damn grave with that.
Yep. Dig a little train, whatever you want.
Yeah. Then we have the Zero Tolerance 0350 knife. Yep.
It's in this box.
It's in that box. And then we have, just in time again, the Rescue Essentials Battle Bandage. So this is like the compression wrap.
Yeah, these are nice.
Stuff.
They're all like vacuum sealed and like, because they
Sterile.
absorb a ton.
Yeah.
And sterile, yes.
For sure. Then we have the Mountain Bonded Alpha Fixed Blade.
Here it is.
That's right there. And then we have the zero tolerance knife storage bag. Got a bunch of knives, you got to have a storage bag for your knives.
Nice.
Gotta put your knives in there. Then we got the Dan's honing oil. Got to hone something? Get the honing oil.
Get the Dan.
Yeah. Dan had the best idea with that oil.
This is good oil.
And then we have the zip range kit. You pull up this little zip line and throw on your targets or whatnot.
That's pretty cool.
Zip it out there and shoot it.
Different.
100-foot range, man.
Wow.
Yeah.
I don't have a 100-foot yard.
I know. I'll try that in the basement, maybe.
Down the stairs.
Yeah. And then, so that was the latest Crate Club. And then we also have the latest Tack Pack. Boy. First item in the Tack Pack is the Reptilia Next Gen Grip. CQG Grip, specifically designed to enhance ergonomics and performance on short-barreled rifles.
Bang, bang.
Bang, bang, you're done, son. Then we have the MSK Supply Storm Tool Range Bag. Actually, a pretty cool little range bag.
Yeah, I like those.
Some really good stuff
Those
in
are
there.
pretty cool.
We have the Yard Pigeon Micro Foregrip. Cam loves a foreskin grip. And then we got the LAG Tactical MCS Mag Carrier.
Look at all that.
Put your mag in there. And then we have the
My
Doc.
back hurts. Reaching down to pick all the stuff up.
You can use the Doc Spartan Mini Healer stuff on your back if you need to. And then there's also a yellow operator sticker, which is
Why'd you mention that first?
Homer Simpson. I don't know. That's the first item right there. That's it, guys.
Whew.
Hello.
A lot of stuff.
Goodbye. That's all we got today, guys. Appreciate you guys listening. Seriously, can't thank you enough.
These kits, man, they're loaded.
Loaded. We can't thank you enough
Make
for
anybody
listening.
happy.
Seriously, appreciate you listening. You're all wonderful people for doing so.
Yes.
Right?
Really are.
Make sure to follow us on all the socials, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, or where else, wherever you can find us.
Yeah.
We're out there. Thank you so much and stay survived.